be sensible about getting this game on.
And hopefully, now that we don't have this separate competition come the end of the year, we can have a bit more of a sensible approach to things like dual registration relationships for the back end of the season when injuries bite at clubs that clearly are not financially sustainable. If we want them in our pyramid when they are not sustainable entities, then we need to find a way of making their player availability a sustainable situation. So hopefully this is the change in structure can draw a line under that, because when it was a totally new competition, particularly the qualifiers, it was unfair if you could get people coming in from week to week, but especially when they might be playing against parent clubs or what have you. But now that that's gone, we've got an opportunity to address that. Okay, it was the League One playoff final on Sunday. Bradford.
Do we even do the score in that one? It was 42-10.
I think we said it, yeah. It was Bradford 27, Workington 8. Shoddy and Mungo got in touch. He said, "It wasn't pretty, we weren't great, but I couldn't care less. Such a relief to be finally promoted, although the lack of quality shows we have much to do to be competitive next year." Because everyone's sort of assuming Bradford are going to be competing with Toulouse and Toronto. Witness. Did you catch any of this one on the R League?
I didn't see any of this because I was at the cricket thing in the afternoon. But the one bit I did see,
5 minutes at the end when I was waiting for Emma when she went into Next to buy a jumper, but then came out of a shirt.
There we go. Well, she's got to get workwear now. You see?
No, just.
No, it's casual. Just
because she went in a shop, so she had to buy something.
That's the rules. The one bit I did see related to this game was the coin toss.
Yes. It was a shambolic as you were hoping it would be. And Stuart Littler and the representative from Workington, who's the chairman there, I assume, but I don't know his name, I apologise. They absolutely played their part in making it a fair farcical.
I'm just impressed he allowed it to be streamed. Boom.
But they did play their part in kind of amping up the amateur hour nature of it all and the ad hoc "what are we even doing here" attitude to it. Bless, what's her name? Is she called? I want to say Julia Lee, but I don't know if that's her name or not at all. But the woman from the RFL, the sort of compliance and rules woman from the RFL. I
love that it needed someone from compliance and rules to carry out that
for trying to be like professional about it all, but everyone else.
You'd think there were enough tossers in rugby league in general that they could find someone who could do it competently.
Yeah, but back onto the game itself, obviously convincing that from Bradford against a team that had been their bogey team. So, and the few times I did slip on the R League app and catch bits of it. On the afternoon, because I was watching the women's game that we're going to get to in a minute. The few bits I did see were of Bradford camped out on the Workington line, so obviously even when it took them a while to nail home an advantage, they were always there. And Jai Hitchcock scored a hat-trick, so he was the star of the show. Certainly if they can retain him in the championship, then that's a great coup, because he has got a great try-scoring strike rate this year, and it's a little bit unfortunate for him that Castleford haven't given him one more year. Women's Super League.
Yes.
2 semi-finals. The first one was 1 p.m. kickoff, streamed on the R League app. It finished Leeds 24, Castleford 10, but it was 6-0 to the Castleford Tigers at half time. We had a couple of people get in touch. Do you want to take us through those, Tim?
Yeah, Fatboy Rob said carbon copy of the Challenge Cup final a few weeks back, with Cass dominating the first half but not taking their chances, then running out of steam in the second half. There are a few hundred fans mainly on the same side of the camera. Will this sport ever learn? And there was some good skill on show, as well as some big hits. I strongly recommend the final next week. Hopefully Leeds will get a stuffing. P.S. I got stood up. ...
I think Dom was intending to attend.
But Dom had to go and be at the other meet-up. He can't be everywhere.
Well,
he had to go and meet Dr. Hideous.
He was at the Martin House charity thing. And that ran a bit longer, I think, than he was intending. So don't be too disheartened, Rob. He'll still make a date.
You can see him next week. Yeah.
Dr. Bob Phillips said, "Oh, you do it. You tell us."
Yeah, Dr. Bob Phillips said Fort Rhinos were lucky in the first half. The 0-0 was the best they could hope for after this much early turnover of the ball. The try in bunny marks was tricky but deserved. What was clear was if they could keep the ball, the Rhinos could barrel their way up the field. The second half saw that converted to points, and the triple is on the cards for the Rhinos again.
Yeah, it is. They've made their way to the regional arena. I only saw bits of the first half when I was waiting for the Wigan Warriors ladies game to kick off, so I didn't see the sense of the turnaround that the Leeds had, but credit to them for digging in, being resilient and fixing the faults they had in the first half and being the champion side that they've shown themselves to be so far this season in that one. In the other semi-final that I was at, it was Wigan 10, St Helens 6.
At Robin Hood Arena.
Robin Park Arena, yeah. This was a really engrossing game.
Do you not find that places that call themselves arena are generally quite small and dilapidated?
Well, we did start to sit down on some seats in front of a lady that I know from the internet, and then realised those seats were cracked, so had to move the seats behind those people instead. But yeah, Wigan were very much like the men's team in this, apart from they did concede a try late on to St Helens. But Wigan's performance was very much like the men's team performance. Goal line defence was a huge factor in getting them through this game, and combined with a couple of strikes by the golden left edge. Rachel Thompson in the left centre position got a remarkable offload away for her winger to score in the first try for Wigan after Saints had taken an early penalty goal when they couldn't break through the line, so they thought, well, we'll get some points for a kick. And then Rachel Thompson, from a great pass from Gemma Walsh, a great cut-out flat pass at the line that took out two St Helens defenders, and any defender that wasn't taken out by it, Rachel Thompson broke tackles of maybe some of them twice by the time she actually got to the line and put the ball down. It was a fantastic run. If you can see that on the highlights, I would strongly recommend it. And then it was 10-2 to Wigan at half-time, and Wigan totally deserved that position with everything they did in that game, in that half. They defended really well on their own line, and they attacked with a little bit more precision and threat than St Helens were after a few knock-ons early on in attacking position from Wigan. But the second half was all just resilience. Saints were coming out of their end constantly and were making meters. Roxy Mura made a really good break and then went over and hurt herself. I think she got a bang to the head. I wasn't quite sure, but I think she got a bang to the head. And then there was a young lass who I'll have to have a look up actually on the team sheet, who made about 4 or 5 marauding runs with Wigan defenders hanging off her and made great ground for... my tablet's decided to pack up. Made great ground.
So I've got Sarah Lovejoy.
She was number 20-something.
22, Vicky Whitfield.
Her, yeah.
We're going to call her Wigfield.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Wigfield did some good work in that spell. But I think Wigan brought back on Joni Aspin for a spell in the second half, and she's I talked a bit about her last week. She's a big lass with great hands, and what she really did was start drawing in some of those St Helens defenders, getting offloads away for then Wigan to clear their own lines. And in particular, Amanda Sibold in the second row was just running some fantastic lines consistently in the second half that really got Wigan some field position away from their own line. And then Rebecca Greenfield started catching everything, cleaning up everything.
Gosh, you were doing a review of a Wigan ladies game and you managed to go a whole minute without mentioning Becky Greenfield.
And put a great tackle in on that break that I talked about from Roxy Mura. She put a great tackle in on that. Yeah, I think it might have been Vicky Whitfield or Claire Mullaney potentially actually for Saints. I'm not sure which one of the two, but whoever it was really making some inroads in that second half. And then Saints scored a try with about 5 minutes left, which was
Katie May Williams. Yeah,
it had been coming. They'd been knocking on the door for a while, or certainly threatening up the field, and then kind of losing their way in the last 20. But ultimately, the play ended on some really strong defence from Wigan, forcing another error from the Saints side, and then the final whistle went. So just well done to the Wigan side. Gemma Walsh was very calm throughout. She kind of only injected herself when she needed to, but every single thing she did in the game, apart from a couple of silly offloads really early on, were really impactful. So well done to the Wigan women, and it's going to be a great game between Wigan and Leeds. I think Leeds have had the upper hand on Wigan, as they have on most people so far, but Wigan have been closing that gap, and they've been getting closer and closer to them. And
I'll tell you what, I'm really excited to finally get along to a women's game. I've been wanting to all year, and to finally get the chance this weekend, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we're going to preview that along with the men's grand final after this. Preview and predictions now in association with Love Rugby League. Head to loverugbyleague.com for all the latest news, gossip, opinion pieces, and even more stats on the greatest game. Obviously, watching out for who gets replacement call-ups this week in the middle of the week for the England squad, and also
I thought you were talking about the meetups. Who are we going to replace?
Yeah, but also finding out information about. Well, read that article that we talked about earlier about loose forwards and stuff like that. So
yeah, it was a really good piece by James Gordon.
Yeah, it is James. I need to get James on. Actually, we need to have a state of witness conversation in the off season with James, because I think he'll
just make sure do it near Christmas time when he might be a little bit happier. Because I think if you did it now, he might be a little bit depressed. But no, it's a really good, well written article, really well thought out argument. So I really enjoyed reading that.
Okay. I agree, by the way. Super League Grand Final, though, Saturday, 6 p.m. on Sky, if you didn't know already, but get there if you can.
Come along.
If you haven't got tickets, just a reminder, we've got 2 pairs of tickets that we're giving away to
all you need to say is Cass were never really champions.
Yeah. So you have to turn up at the regional arena and say Cass were never really champions to us, and you'll get 2 tickets. And the other one is find the tweets on social media. It'll be on Twitter. And
bring someone new. Find a friend.
And then what we'll do with that is on Thursday night I'll randomly pick someone from who's fulfilled the criteria, and then we will. Actually, should we do it a Facebook only thing, because we don't get enough Facebook traffic? No, we'll have to do it Twitter too, because we don't have enough followers on Facebook. But we'll do that, and then you'll get
Scott Lister, you remember a chance.
And then we'll arrange to meet up some point on Saturday between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock to give you those tickets. So please keep an eye out for those if you are listening now still. Right, we did a poll, Tim.
We got the poll out. And the results were conclusive. 77% of voters felt that Wigan are going to win, and only 23% of voters felt that Warrington were going to win. And that breakdown is roughly reflected in the people who got in touch with a little bit more to pad out what they think is going to happen. So Lee Whitnell, who's a Warrington fan, says, the form book says Wigan, history says Wigan, head-to-head this season says Wigan, player for player it's Wigan, so I'm going for Warrington by over 13. As you should.
Ben Paulden, who's a Wigan fan, at Ben_Paulden, said, Wigan with solid defence and passion to send off our departees with a trophy. And then finally, David Lum, at LumD, who I don't know who he supports.
Welcome.
Welcome along indeed, David. He says, in Tompkins, Bateman and O'Loughlin, just got a little too much class, plus Wigan can grind it out better, if required, than Saints. I think that's a throwback to what happened in the semi-finals. So that's what the fans think. 77% of them think Wigan are going to win it. There's no point me going into too much detail about it. I'm obviously in that number as well. I think Wigan are going to win. I'm going to call it Wigan by 10 in the men's grand final. So let's say 20 points to 10. Are they going to get 10 points? 16 points to 6. That's what the final score will be in favour of Wigan. It's all those things that Ben and David kind of picked up on. The solid defence, and then just enough touches of world class in there to get.
And I think the team performance they've shown the last couple of years, the fact they can dig it out for each other, will do. Opinions not going to be that shocking. I think Wigan are going to do this. I think they are a class above. I think that they've got the players and they've got the emotional reasoning that is really going to want them. I can't see it being Warrington's yet. I just think they're a little bit below, but you never quite know. So I'm going to say 22-12.
Do you have an opinion on who might end up with the Harry Sunderland then? So we're tipping Wigan wins, so I'm guessing you're going to go a Wigan player.